Welcome to the deep dive. We're going to jump right into the source material you shared with us today.
Yeah, this one focuses pretty tightly on, a specific exchange involving Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
Right, about a tax proposal. And our mission here is really just to unpack what this particular source material tells us about that interaction.
Exactly. What claims are being made? What's the context? According to this document, that's what we're digging into.
Okay, so let's get started. The piece you sent, it really kicks off with Donald Trump responding to what the source calls criticism from Elon Musk about a potential tax idea.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting how, right away, the source highlights Trump characterizing his relationship with Musk.
How so?
Well, it quotes him saying they got along very well. Even mentions specific chats about cars and rockets and many other things. So it seems like he's setting a particular stage there.
Yeah, sort of framing it positively, even though he's apparently responding to criticism.
Precisely.
And that leads, right into Trump using this moment, as the source lays it out, to talk about his own tax ideas. What are the main points mentioned?
Okay, so the source notes he claimed his proposal involves massive tax cuts.
Big cuts.
Massive tax cuts. And the goal stated in the text.
The primary aim, according to this material, was to make the country competitive again. And it says these proposed cuts would hit both businesses and individuals.
Okay, so competitiveness is the key word there, linked to these cuts. The document also mentions he framed them as, like, replacing earlier tax increases.
Exactly. The source presents it as him positioning his plan specifically to roll back tax burdens he claims were added before, like an undoing of previous policy.
Right, right. It gives that massive cuts claim some context measured against what he says came before. But there's one specific bit in the source that really jumps out.
Looks fun.
The claim his plan would eliminate the estate tax.
Yes. And the source includes his stated reason for that specific policy point.
Which was, he apparently claimed it was intended to, and I quote roughly from the source here, save family farms and businesses from having to be sold just to pay the tax when someone passes away.
So it's presented as a direct measure to help keep those family enterprises going.
That's the connection made in the text.
Yeah.
Linking the estate tax, basically a tax on large inheritances, to preventing those forced sales of family assets.
Okay, so looking just at your source material, we see this flow. Trump addresses the reported criticism from Musk, emphasizes a good relationship, then pivots.
Pivots to outlining his tax vision. These broad cuts for competitiveness set against prior increases, and then that very specific estate tax elimination.
With that stated rationale about protecting family businesses and farms.
Exactly. It maps out that specific exchange as presented in the document.
And the point for you, the listener, is to quickly pull out those distinct claims and understand the narrative being presented in the material you shared. It gives you what was said in response to those reported comments.
Which is really helpful, for cutting through everything else and getting straight to what this particular source actually reports about this exchange.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Here's a final thought, really stemming from that specific detail we just discussed from the source material you provided. How might that claim eliminating the estate tax specifically to save family farms and businesses, how might that resonate or maybe even spark debate within different groups, different economic sectors?
Yeah, that's something to think about. It's a detail from the source that likely has ripples beyond just this one political back and forth.